One really particularly bad one, and one that's very easy to identify, is actually a vine. And vines can cause competition for light and nutrients, but they also can cause physical impacts on the plant. So this example is Asiatic bittersweet, which was not native, wasn't really even a problem about 30 years ago. You'd have a hard time finding it, and now you have a hard time avoiding it. And it's a vine that climbs, the technical term is twining. It twists around the stem like a snake. And in this case, it's twisting around what could have been a walnut that in the future might have been a crop tree. Here it's a little sapling. This tree is never going to make it now. And even if it didn't smother it for light and take water and nutrients, it can physically weigh this tree down. In the wintertime, you then get ice and snow on the thing, and then it comes down on it. This vine, some of the vines, you may be familiar with grapes, where they have little curly-Q tendrils that hook around things. This literally just twists. And here's a case of the bittersweet vine twisting around itself, getting up and reaching up into a higher branch. So you won't see little hairy roots or little twisty strings that twist around stuff. They'll just twist around themselves and whatever they're climbing. And then this would have been a great walnut that could have been a potential crop tree. And with this vine on here, this is a larger bittersweet, and you can see how it's a big tangled twining mess down there. It's never going to make it. It can actually start girdling the tree, where it gets tight around it like a snake and cuts off the flow of nutrients and water, as well as all that added weight. And what you've got to do when you find a really good crop tree, it's potentially not too late for this one. One of the easiest ways to control this is cut them with a handsaw or with a hatchet, again, kind of being careful not to hit the tree behind it. And then as soon as you make a fresh cut, squirt the cut end or paint it, spray it or paint it with very concentrated herbicide, not diluted herbicide. You could almost do it straight out of the bottle. Dab it right on the cut piece there, and that'll keep it from re-sprouting. So bittersweet is a really problematic vine, and we call it a twining vine that twists up, strangling the tree. This is an example of how bittersweet gets around. It's very stiff. This one's not twining because it's out in the air, and it reaches out, and it can't reach forever. It'll get weighted down and it'll basically get to the ground. But if it reaches out and had this landed and touched this walnut, that actually stimulates it to start twisting around it. So they just kind of reach out into space, hoping they land on something. And when they do, that causes the coiling, that touching response, and then they start going up the tree.